Hey there! Welcome to the channel and welcome back. Today we're going all over the cost of living here in the Phoenix metro area. So stay tuned, we'll talk all about it. My name is Josh.
And I'm Barbara.
And we're the Select Realty Group over here in the Phoenix metro area. If this is your first time to the channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you'd like to learn everything there is to know about living, going out to restaurants, eating, sleeping, playing, and everything else about the Phoenix metro area. And make sure to also hit that bell icon to get notified of all our future content.
Yeah, we get so many calls from people that are looking to move to the Phoenix metro area, and we absolutely just love it. We love taking your calls. We love sharing the information about our this area with you. We love helping people that are looking to relocate here. So give us a call, send us a text message, email us, DM us. You can even send a carrier pigeon if you want. We would love to chat with you about living in the Phoenix metro area.
And all the calls and texts that you guys send to us in DMs, we are the ones responding to you and to you directly. Just want to help you guys out on your move over here or your visit to the Phoenix metro area. Now, let's dive into this video, which is all about the cost of living here and what it actually costs to be a member of the Phoenix metro area community. Let's start it off with the first thing is housing prices. Now, housing prices here are in the overall Phoenix metro area definitely not too bad. It's actually still very affordable to be here in the general Phoenix metro area, especially compared to other large metropolitan cities and specifically those over here in the Southwest. Now, the other city that comes kind of close to us in terms of cost of living is Las Vegas, which ends up being pretty similar to the cost here in the Phoenix metro area.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But then compared to all the stuff over in California or in Washington State or Oregon or even up in Utah or Colorado or Texas, we are quite a bit more affordable than those places.
Yeah, so what does affordable mean? Well, I kind of looked up, I wanted to see, like, on average, how much would, like, a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home cost? About 2,000 square feet. So that's kind of about the average home here in the Phoenix metro area. And if I take the whole area, including the most expensive communities and the least expensive communities for a single family home, we're talking about $450,000, maybe a little bit more. Some communities obviously are a lot more, a few are a little less. But on average, you could say that, you know, $450,000 to $500,000 would be an average priced home here in the Phoenix metro area.
Exactly. And then if you go over the total average of all homes and everything else for sale here in the Phoenix metro, our statistical average is right about $346,000 per home as of the end of last year, compared to the U.S. average of $292,000. So the Phoenix metro is a little bit more, right about 17% higher than the national average there. But again, there's dramatic differences on cost of housing and everything. For instance, in Scottsdale, right now, the average home cost is right about $674,000 compared to the $292,000 U.S. average. So we're approaching almost 3 times the cost of the national average there.
Yeah. The next thing that we want to talk about with, you know, what does it cost to live here? Once you buy your home, obviously you've got to pay property taxes. And property taxes here are pretty reasonable. I used to say it was about $1 a square foot. So like a 3,000 square foot home would be about $3,000 a year, which seems really, really super low compared to a lot of other states. And now it has gone up a lot in the last couple of years with the cost of housing going up. And it's based on the assessed value. The tax rate depends on the community you live in. So, and a lot of that goes to the schools. So it just depends on how much each community wants to pay towards their schools. Some of them the tax rate is a little bit higher, some of them it's a little bit lower. So it's a really, really complicated algorithm that they use to actually do the calculation. I don't really totally understand it myself, to be honest with you. But just to give you an example, my home is about 2,000 square feet, and I think our property taxes are about $2,400 a year. And that was for 2022.
2021.
2021, sorry about that. Yeah, so, about that for kind of an average size home. Again, fairly reasonable compared to a lot of other states when it comes to our property taxes here.
Yep, and then going on next, we're going to talk about homeowners insurance here, which it all really depends on the type of policy you have, because you can have everything from, top end, full comprehensive, like the maximum allowable, everything else, to the bare minimum. So it really depends on exactly what kind of coverage you're looking for your home. But still, those insurance prices are still pretty reasonable around here.
Yeah, I would say. I think our homeowners insurance maybe is what, $600 a year?
I believe, yeah, right about like $560, $600 a year.
$600 a year. Now, one thing to be aware of in the Phoenix metro area is there are some areas that are what is considered in the floodplain. So it's like the 100-year flood. So if you happen to live in that plain, you are required, especially if you're getting a loan, to have flood insurance. And the flood insurance can be an additional $500, $600, $700 a year. So reach out to us. We'll let you know what areas are in a floodplain and which ones aren't, because last thing you want to do is get caught unexpected by having additional insurance costs.
Exactly. Just always reach out to us. You can even go online. There's many maps out there and everything else. But in terms of the specifics of what the property taxes, which differ from city to city and town to town, as well as housing cost, or if you're in a floodplain, just reach out. We're more than happy to help. We love doing it and everything. We'll make sure to get you in exactly the spot you want to be in. Now, moving on to the next part of the cost of living here is electricity.
Yeah, so we get a lot of questions from our clients when they're looking at homes, and they always want the seller to provide them with the average utility costs. And what I try to tell them is we can ask for that. I mean, it's readily available. We can get that information. However, the utility costs, it's so dependent upon the occupant. How cool do you like the home? I know some people, like they keep their thermostat set at 72 in the summertime, and others people can have it set at 78, so that's going to be a huge difference.
Then it depends if you have solar on the roof or not, if your home was block construction, if you have dual pane or gas injected windows,
Yep.
how good your door seals are,
What kind of insulation you have.
whether or not your garage door is well insulated for that whole space and everything. So there's a lot of nuances that come with exactly how much it will be.
And also if you have a pool.
Exactly.
So a pool draws a lot of electricity.
But what we can tell you for certain is the kilowatt hour price and the actual cost of electricity here. As far as the U.S. national average, we're right about dead on the money for the average across the nation. So our kilowatt hour price would be, just have to look here for a second, varying between about, depending on the time of day, because if you're in the daytime it's less, nighttime is kind of peak hours. So it's going to vary slightly between about $2 to maybe about $5 for absolute peak over hours. But overall, you're going to be about $2 to $2.40 a kilowatt hour here.
So just to give you an example, this is not my home. This is a condo that we own in Fountain Hills. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, about 1,100 square feet, and the average, we're on the average plan. That's something that you want to look at, because your electric bills are going to be really low in the winter time and really high in the summertime when you're running your electricity 24 hours a day. But anyway, our average for this condo is $103 a month. Now, we had my old home we just sold last year, was about 4,000 square feet. It was 2 stories. It had a 3-car garage. It had a pool. And I think the average on that one was $390. So you can see there's quite a bit of a difference in the electric bill.
Exactly. But again, as she mentioned with that one, the pool, 2-story, lots of headspace, AC garage and everything. So,
Yep.
a lot of the nuances will add to that electricity bill. But moving on here, we're going to talk about the water, sewage, and trash bill, which at least here where we live, they're kind of all conglomerated into one bill for water, sewage, and trash.
And most of the larger communities here, like Phoenix, Scottsdale, Mesa, Chandler, Glendale, they all,
Gilbert and stuff.
Gilbert, the community itself, the city itself provides that service, and it's all lumped together in one bill. So it is broken out into the the water, sewer, and trash, so you can see how much water you're using. But again, if you have a pool and you have a lot of pool evaporation, you're going to have a higher water bill than someone that doesn't.
Exactly. Most of our pools here have autofill as well, so that
Exactly.
make sure they're topped off the whole way.
Right.
So especially during summer, if they're not covered, that evaporation takes a lot more water to make sure that
Yeah.
pool stays nice and full.
My current home does not have a pool, and my average water, sewer, trash bill is about $76 a month. My old home that did have a pool, I think our average was about $100 a month. So just to give you an idea, pool versus no pool, there either can be about $25 difference per month in your water bill.
Exactly. All right, and then moving on. So we're going to talk about cable and internet bills and cost over here. So in Arizona, Cox is probably the largest telecommunication and internet provider here. Although we do have several other ones. We do have Verizon here. We have Google, AT&T, several others. CenturyLink. So we do have numerous ones around here. Although Cox is definitely the most prevalent, and they have, I would say, the best infrastructure in terms of their fiber and very high-speed gigabit internets put out versus the other ones. And that bill for them, it really depends on the type of plan you have. So if you just had internet and you wanted their fiber or their gigabit, you're going to be spending roughly between $100 to $120 a month for that internet. Although if you wanted a more basic plan, they go below $30 a month just for their
Yeah, I think they have an
plans.
introductory plan for like $29.99 a month. So if you have, don't use a lot of internet usage, that might be more than enough for you.
Exactly. It'll all depend if what speeds you're wanting, and then everything else, if your home has a lot of smart features and everything else like that. So that's just really going to depend on exactly what type of internet service you're wanting in your own home there.
Yeah.
Which again, reach out to us. We'd be happy to help you kind of tailor it and give you a better idea, depending on what your usage is like, of what that's going to be.
All right, and then the next one obviously is your, the last utility bill is your cell phone. And again, we have like all the major carriers here: Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T,
Cricket,
so you can get the kind of the low ones that have, not the best coverage. I would say the companies that have the best coverage here are probably Verizon, AT&T, and maybe T-Mobile.
Yep.
A lot of them are now starting to offer that 5G. So if you need, strong cell phone coverage, those are all available. And again, the coverage just depends on what you get. I think,
you can go anywhere from maybe $10, $15 a month if you don't really need any internet, just kind of voice, up to, over $60 a line if you're wanting, unlimited 5G, the ultra wideband and everything with, international roaming and all that stuff thrown in. Could be, as I mentioned, over $60 a month just for that or more.
Another service that a lot of people here seem to utilize is landscape service. So most newer homes in the area do have the desert landscaping. They still need to be trimmed. You need to get all the dead branches and stuff like that. You certainly don't need weekly service. It's about $100 to, have your yard cleaned up and raked and things like that. Obviously, if you have grass, and there are several communities that still allow grass, then you're going to need weekly service, and that's going to be a little bit more. So just one of the things to think about when you're looking at homes and what type of landscaping is available is like, who's going to take care of it? Do you take care of it, or are you going to need to hire someone to take care of it for you?
Like for instance, in my home, I have some palm trees in the backyard, which every couple of years or so will require someone to be trimmed, so that's an added expense. Just the size of the yard too, and the type of plants you have, and then also what type of landscaping you're wanting to do. So it varies drastically. If you have a very basic, just desert landscape of rocks and some cactus, you can get away with virtually no landscaping other than spraying for a couple weeds every now and then. Or if you have grass and everything, as she mentioned, it gets a little bit more. But we are seeing a lot more now that the fake grass and the turf being put instead of real grass,
that's true,
which limits a lot of the extra water and maintenance costs there with it, and you still have that nice looking grass. Now, moving on, so also another thing here in Arizona, being a warmer climate, especially during the summer, is pools are quite common. So there is the pool maintenance there. Now, you could go and maintain it yourself if you wanted to, or contract out a company. And if you are maintaining it yourself, it depends if you have a chlorine or a saltwater pool. And with that, it's the cost of the chemicals of adding the chlorine or adding extra salt to it, as well as putting in algicide when needed. Or you can do the much simpler way of just, where there are numerous companies around here where you could contract that they can come by and maintain it with you and just make sure it's up to date, and then it's a worry-free maintenance, and you just have to pay that cost, which again, depending on the pool and the level of care you're looking for, varies quite a bit.
I would say it's between $100 and $150 a month, and that would be for a weekly service. And it is extremely important to maintain your pool, especially in the summertime here. You know, if that pool's off for even a couple of days, you can start growing algae really, really fast. And if you don't stay on top of your chemicals, again, the algae can start filling up, and it's really a pain to clean it up. So you want to make sure that you stay on top of your pool service.
Exactly. And speaking of staying on top of it, all your pumps and other infrastructure with the pool, if you're not staying on top of the maintenance of those, it could go from, just spending $20 or $50 here or something for a part to maintain it. Or if it breaks and having to replace it, that $20, $30, $40 will turn into a couple $1,000s that you'll have to shell out in order to replace the equipment.
Exactly. All right, the next item on our list for what does it cost to live in Arizona is you got to drive. So what is the cost of auto registration here? I think it depends on the sales price of the vehicle as to how much it is. And I'm sure there's an algorithm, a calculation for it. But just to give you an idea, I bought a new Infiniti a couple of years ago, and I want to say my tags for the first year were about $600. Now that might be a little higher than maybe some states, but that's about what it is.
Yep, exactly. Yep, mine that I got recently is about right around a little less than $800 for the first year tags, and then moving forward with it, it gets a little bit less and less because it is dependent on the current value of the vehicle, of what the tags and everything cost for the registration.
And so you got your car, you got your tags, now you got to fill it up with gas.
Exactly. So that's another thing here with gas prices. Now they are starting to come down a little bit now, which is great, but we're still seeing all across the valley, for the most part, for unleaded, we're at about anywhere from $5 to about $5.30, although now the average
Actually, you know what? I was at the gas station today and I saw it was for $4.89, and we're in July of 2022. But on average, I would say our gas prices are a little higher than most of the country. We're not as high as California and some of the West Coast states, but we're definitely higher than, say, like Texas and Mississippi and Alabama and some of those areas.
If you're over at Costco, unleaded, like regular, will be about $4.40, $4.50. Normal gas stations, though, at least right now in July, at normal gas stations, you're looking at right about $5 for unleaded, or about $5.60-ish for premium. So just keep that in mind when driving around, that it is a little costly sometimes to fill it up, but it is trending down, which is always a nice thing. Now on to the next thing. So you're living out here, groceries. Everyone needs to go out and buy groceries. Now, for the national average, at least in the Phoenix area, we actually are a little bit under the national average in terms of grocery cost. And then statewide is a little bit under too, but that also will depend on the specific city. For instance, the Phoenix Metro general average is a bit below, but if you move over to Scottsdale or Paradise Valley, it ends up being just above the national average, right about 2 to 4% higher than the national average, whereas Phoenix Metro is about 3% under the national average. So overall, though, no matter where you are in the valley, groceries are going to be right about the same as they are across the U.S. Still a bit less than some of those other states, such as the West Coast Pacific states, some other ones, so it's definitely not too bad. Now, the next part is dining out.
Dining out. Well, you know what? I don't know that there is as an average. I think there's just so many different options. I mean, there's, just like most parts of the country, you can go to less expensive restaurants, more expensive restaurants. So I think on average, I would say
we're actually quite a bit under average for the U.S. So if 100 is normally the index for the average across the U.S., and here in Phoenix Metro, we're actually 70, so about 30% under the national average in terms of the average restaurant prices.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's expensive to go out to eat, especially if you're going to have a couple of adult beverages to go with it. But you just have to plan for it and, put it in your budget.
And it also really depends on where you're going, because we have everything from low end, which is under the national average, to going to the very high end restaurants, which will cost you a pretty penny to get a full course meal and some adult beverages.
In some of the resorts, they can get a little pricey.
Now, one other thing we wanted to talk about is actually rental prices. We talked about housing prices at the beginning, but just wanted to quickly go over our rental prices here. Overall, for the Phoenix metro area, we're actually right about bang on the money for national average in terms of rental prices for studios, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, and 4 bedroom places. For instance, a 1 bedroom will cost you roughly about $990 a month. 3 bedroom will be about $1,200 roughly a month, which is still right along the national average. Although, depending on the city you go to, for instance, Scottsdale is a bit above the national average. Where in the Phoenix metro area, a 1 bedroom, as I mentioned, is about $990. That same 1 bedroom in Scottsdale will be about $1,300 a month. And then likewise, a 4 bedroom over in Scottsdale will usually run you about $2,400 a month on average. But again, depending on the community you're in within Scottsdale or Phoenix metro, it could be well above that $2,400 average, going up to $4,000, $5,000 plus or so.
Yeah. Well, I was just in California this last weekend, and actually those rental rates sound really good. I know they're a little bit higher than some areas, but they sounded really good compared to California rates.
Now, we did want to go over the cost of living map here with you guys. So if you look here on the map, you can see the whole Phoenix area, which is the center part here, is pretty reasonable in terms of cost of living. You can see it in that light purple color. Although if you go over to the right, you get into the Scottsdale area, which gets quite a bit more pricey. Paradise Valley, Cave Creek, and Carefree, as well as Rio Verde, you can see are all quite a bit more expensive in terms of cost of living. Same with Fountain Hills, a bit less than those, but still quite high. Same with New River and Anthem are quite high. Then if you're going over more towards the West Valley or the Southeast Valley, which would be West Valley, Peoria, or Surprise and Glendale, a little bit higher than Phoenix, although still very reasonable and not too bad. Likewise, the Southeast Valley of Mesa, Tempe, and such are also a little bit more than Phoenix, but still less than Scottsdale or some other areas, so still not too bad. And that's one of the things where you should definitely reach out to us. We can definitely help you find those specific areas and really help you go through the cost of living map to make sure you are getting exactly what you're looking for when you're moving over here to Phoenix Metro.
We definitely want to make sure you're comfortable with the budget that you've got and that you'll be able to maintain the type of lifestyle that you're looking for. Well, that's the cost of living in the Phoenix Scottsdale metro area.
Yep. But again, you got to reach out to find that perfect area where we have been here for many years. Both are licensed agents here in the Phoenix metro area. Can definitely help you find those specific areas you're looking for. And then in order to do that, you're going to have to give us a call. You can shoot us a text, send an email, you can DM us, or even send us a carrier pigeon or anything else like that if you want. No matter what it is, as long as you reach out, we'll get it and get back to you and help you find that perfect area.
Well, until the next time, thanks for joining us for our video.
And catch you next time. Thanks.